You guys should be able to see my screen and everything now. Can you see it? Yay! We're up and ready to rock and roll. Oh man. All right, all right, all right. I am so sorry about what's going on here in this delay, and I have no idea what happened, y'all. Uh, it's guess it's just one of those days, right? One of those days when your computer decides to not cooperate with you, and so I am here. So before I get started, I want to go through real quick and find out from you guys how you're doing with your homework, and how's the. Let me see here. Questions. All right. Okay. Woohoo! All right. James said, okay, you can make it up to us by giving us a free membership to 6 months training. Sure, James. I'll give you guys I'll give you guys a lifetime training with you guys teaching the class. All right. So tell me about what you have done, how you doing with your homework, and we'll start with that. So your last homework was to talk to 5 cash buyers. No, it was private lenders. So I guess what was your last homework? I don't even remember anymore. Anybody? Speak to 5 private lenders. Okay. So how's everybody doing with their homeworks? You know, I've been getting so much feedback. How so much feedback about how the homeworks and the contest has been the #1 contributor to you guys taking action, you guys getting out of your comfort zone and making things happen. I guess that accountability is just really strong. And so I want to know, how are things going for you? Brenda said, finding tons of REO agents, but it's tough finding private lenders. It's in your head, Brenda. It's all in your head. You gotta step out of your comfort zone. Who do you know that's a CPA? That's a business owner? That's an attorney? If you don't know any of those people, go to a shopping strip, right? Go to a shopping center. Talk to somebody. There's plenty of people. Okay. Go to Starbucks. Go to a fancy hotel in your area and hang out at the bar. Talk to somebody. Anyone else? Okay, let me see here. Sign up for a squeeze page, and I need to learn how to do an assignment quick. You don't need any squeeze pages at this point, okay? So what's most important is that you guys be taking action and just implement at this point. Okay, no, you don't need to do anything else. Nobody's making comments, or what's going on? I don't see any you guys posting your comments about your homework. Ted said, working hard, but I have a job, and so having difficulty in accomplishing everything due to conflict. Well, you just gotta make it work. You know, definitely don't don't tell me that you're having difficulty accomplishing everything. Just try your best. That's the most important thing. And doing what you can, doing what you can to get it done. All right. Okay. Carlos said, yes, it has been uncomfortable, but reaching my goal of becoming a successful ROI and financial freedom is worth the discomfort. I spoke with 6 private lenders. Good job, Carla. Carla said, I didn't get definite answer. Larry said, talk to 5 listing agents, talk with 3 money lenders, and not yet confirmed, but looks good for $500,000. Good job, Larry. Good for you, buddy. Nam said, talk to 8 REO listing agents, get a lot of leads about private money lenders from the info that you taught. Good job, ma'am. All right, Roland, a couple of private lenders that have committed to $150,000. Good job, Roland. David, haven't talked to private lenders, hopefully over the weekend. Lots of get-togethers. Good, 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 good. James said, I have been setting up with an equity trust custodian to reach their unlimited reservoir of private lenders. Okay, definitely share with us how you go about doing that. All right. Neil said, I have identified 2 cash buyers for $150,000 total. I have talked to 3 cash buyers and 2 REO agents. I guess you met 2 private lenders for $150,000. Ted said, I'm still moving forward and have a list and much further now than before. I'll talk to some REO agents. Good for you. Lillian, I had sent you an email explaining I had to go to my brother's funeral in Arlington. Left Saturday. Okay, missed Tuesday class. Excuse me. So I had to miss after I promised I would attend. But what is more important, hope I can catch it online. Okay, Lillian. Let me see here. Catalina said, as you said last time, build a relationship is very important, especially with private lenders. They want to know if you succeed before. I have begun talking to REO agents. One of them has already sent me his listing. Good job, Shazam. Okay, thank you for those of you that bless me. Crystal, I have heard about credibility packet that I will have to put together when talking to private lenders. Do you know anything about that? You can use credibility kit. I do know about that, and I just never used it. I just be friends with them and just be personable with them. And that's that's my style. But yeah, you certainly can use credibility packets if you want. But don't get too fancy, okay? Just take action, talk to them. I mean, look at all these people that have been able to do it. And so I highly suggest for you to just if you do have a credibility kit to use, that's great. But if you don't let it stop you, is what I'm trying to say. Nothing wrong with using credibility kits. Alan said, spoke with 8 cash buyers, only a forced through list. That's good, Alan. Good job, man. Carlos said, I know it's not best way, but I was scrambling to exceed the homework goal. Well, that is the best way, buddy. Good job, Carlos. Always exceed. Always do more than what you were asked to do. Okay, that's the #1 key to success, by the way. Mark said, I am asking investors who I have never met, and they say yes. They need us and are looking for us. I'm afraid to ask anymore. They are waiting for my deals to go to the next step. Good job, Mark. Good job. All right. James said, I am working with one of the main custodians who is going to put us in the same room with private lenders who are looking for real estate investments. Good job, James. Yeah, that's what I do. I host those kind of meetings here in Houston too. So you're definitely going down taking the right steps. Good for you. Okay, caller said my screen is black. Am I supposed to see anything? Yes, you're supposed to see my presentation, and you're supposed to see my webcam. Can you not see it? If you can't see it, something's wrong. That might mean I have. You should be able to see it because I can see myself on another computer. See, I can see myself. Well, if I put it up, you probably can't see it anyways. Let me see here. It's self-directed IRA money. Not convenient for this type of lending since the term is so short. Oh, it's convenient. It's perfect. It's just fine. Nothing's wrong with that. Nam said, for private lenders that are companies, not individuals, I guess I have to send them a postcard or letter, right? It doesn't matter. Just call them. Just go to yellowpages.com or whitepages.com, find the phone number and call them. There's nothing wrong with that. Robert said he got 1.4 million, 140,000, almost 1.5, or a little bit over 1.5 million private lenders, 14 REO agents, 11 buyers. My computer at home crashed. I am at the library now that they close in 15 minutes. We'll be on the phone though. Personal note, did you speak with Ivy about my question regarding last week and winning the contest? Yes, I did, Robert, because you missed. I know it's unfortunate that your computer crashed, but since you were not on, because you were not on the webinar last time, Carla Rodriguez won the contest there. But the good thing is that the good news is that now you are super ready to take your business to the next level here. So that's good. All right, Kathy said, I have a REO realtor that has sent me some property listings. I have raised about 50,000 now. That's good. Carla said, I'm using my website and the script, presume knowledge as my credibility kit. That's good. All right. Brenda said, found a little house an REO agent sent me this afternoon, and it was a 2001 brick home for 55,000, and the agent said it would appraise about 121,000, and I called my man who does 75% ARV, and the agent called back and said the listing turned around and marked it up to 115,000. So I said goodbye to a good deal. Looking again. What? That's interesting. Okay. That is interesting. Okay. Tim, is there any way we can network with individuals on this call? A lot of the people here have signed up for Realionaires.com, and so if you go to Realionaires.com and you can network with them as well. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Rosemary, I called some of the cash buyers on my list, 7 in all, and already have a list of homes they want. Also talked to 3 transactional lenders and 4 private lenders for an apartment building for $4 million. That's awesome. Good for you, Rosemary. All right. Yeah, Robert, since I didn't see you on, you weren't participating in the chat. We took whoever gave us the stats the other day. So look at the bright side. Okay, Catalina, but I put an ad in Craigslist and talked to people around me, and they are willing to be a private lender for real estate investment. Good job. All right, Rosemary said, I'm a realtor with access to REO deals. I have several in Charlotte, North Carolina. Good job. Brenda said, can we go over the conversation sheet again when telling the private money lenders what we are looking for? Did you get an email on that, Brenda, with the script on that? And also, leave me a testimonial so you guys can get the replays from the last few calls. Okay. Okay. Were you on this webinar this past Tuesday, Brenda? Okay. Larry said, my problem that I am having is building a list of cash buyers. I currently have 12, perhaps third, or what I consider as good prospect cash buyers, but I feel I need numerous more cash buyers ready to go when I get an REO property under contract. How in the heck do I get a large cash buyers list like yesterday? Larry, you don't need a big cash buyers list to do this, okay? What you're going to end up seeing is that, you're probably only going to sell to like a few cash buyers, and you're going to sell to multiple properties. And so just make sure you check out that the people, the cash buyers that you have now, whether or not they own other properties. If they have owned other properties, then they are a good candidate for you. Rosemary said, never got the script. Can you send it again? Okay, well, I'll make sure I'll have Marvin send out the email, or I'll send out the email again. Tomorrow, okay? And so you guys can get that. Okay, Jesse said, I've raised $120,000. Just wondering, how do we move the money through a personal account or an LLC or entity of some sort? Well, the private lender is going to either wire the money to the title company, or they are going to get a cashier's check and bring it to the title company. So one way or another. All right. Well, congratulations all of you for taking action. I really, really love how you're taking action and getting a lot of results. I love that. You know, man. I have you. And just out of curiosity, have you ever taken this much action before with any other courses that you that you have, especially in this short amount of time, right? We've only been on this training for 2 weeks. Have you taken as much action as you have taken on this training? I'm so proud of you. You guys have been doing awesome. All right, let's get to our training now. Our virtual REO investing riches. How to make a fortune flipping foreclosures and REOs with no money, no credit, and no experience. And we're going to talk a lot about no money stuff today, okay? All right. Shazam said, no, this is the first time I'm actually implementing. That's good. Good job, Shazam. Mark said, nope, best class. Ted said, not in this short time. And Kathy said, no, I haven't done this much either. Yep. That's what I figured. That's a common what I should say, comments that I have been getting lately. You know, everybody said how much action they've taken. All right. So oh man, did it? Oh, okay. I think we're good. I thought that I don't know. Maybe some of my slides might have been lost because of the computer issue, but I think they're all here. If anything's lost, I'll let you know. All right. Okay. So the process is this. So first, let's go through the contract process between you and the bank, and then between you and the buyer, and then we'll get into the closing part of it. Okay. Number one is that you're going to be working with these real estate agents, and you are going to either work with the listing agent directly or somebody in their office, because a lot of times these listing agents, they have a team. They have a team of 2 to 3 to 5 different agents working together, and the listing agents handles the relationship with the bank and lists the properties, and then the other people in their team handles working with the buyers. And so you can either be in communication with the listing agents, or you could be in communication with somebody in their team. Either way, they split profits on those things. And so to them, it's still, a great commission split for them. And so when you make offers, you don't need to send in anything. You just give them an offer over the phone. And this is where some of the negotiations is going to happen. Like, they're going to tell you, well, we have other offers already. Is this your highest and best offer? A lot of them is going to play this game with you and tell you that they have other offers, for you to give them your highest and best. Now, the truth of the matter is, we don't know for sure if they really do have other offers or not. A lot of time I find that they don't have other offers. They're just saying that just to get you to tell them your highest and best offer. And so so you haggle back and forth, and you give them an offer that you are comfortable with. Okay, and so you tell them that you are, when you make the initial verbal offer, tell them that you are a cash buyer. Okay, and once they get to where they're signing the contract and wanting you to give you the proof of funds, then that's when you're going to tell them that you're using a hard money lender, and you're using a hard money lender or a private lender or a cash partner, a money partner, but it's just as good as cash. And the reason here is because if you tell them that if you write the contract as a cash offer, they are going to want a lot more money as a down payment. I mean, as a earnest money, and they want to see your bank statement. And so they'll want something like 10%, 10 to 20% as earnest money if you trying to make a true cash offer. If you can show that kind of earnest money, if you can put up that kind of earnest money, cash offers is the best offer. That is where you're going to get the best price. Okay, even better than the hard money lending offer. And but the thing with, if you use hard money lenders or some kind of lending, then they'll only require normally around $1,000, $1,000 to $3,000 is common. Sometimes even as low as $500, but $1,000 is the most common. And so we normally tell them, we normally only put up $1,000 earnest money if they do ask for more than that. You want to tell them you can close very quickly. If you once you start doing this and you have buyers lined up already, then you tell them that, I'm ready to close whenever you are. That's the quickest close, right? That's telling them that as soon as their title's ready, the title company's ready, you are ready to close. So so make sure you tell them quick close. If you don't have buyers lined up yet, then you tell them 14 days to close. That's fine, okay? And 14 to 21 days is good. And also too, schedule your closing on a Thursday. Schedule your closing on a Thursday, and here's why. There are times that something might go wrong in the deal. Either your buyer back out on you, or your buyer delay the closing, or something happened. Okay, and so if you schedule closing on a Thursday, then a Thursday or a Friday, then you can tell them, well, I can't close today because I'm out of town on an emergency. And if you're not out of town, go out of town, so that way you're not lying. Okay, drive out of town, and then tell them that you're out of town and you can't close today. However, you will be back in town and you're ready to close on Monday or Tuesday. Okay? And so that way it gives you that weekend to find another buyer and close and move forward with closing, or do something else, figure out something that you can do. Got it? All right, so hard money, cash offer, quick close, and set the date. So whatever the calendar is, set it to close on a Thursday. Okay, because a lot of these people, they don't, they don't really do anything on Fridays, and so you can kind of get away with that. All right. So you're gonna make the verbal offer to the agent. Once the agent feels that it's acceptable, they are going to prepare the contract and send it to you. And you want to tell them to send it to you in a PDF format, so that way you can just do a digital signature. You can just like use the art software to just sign it online, so that way you don't get a bunch of faxes in your fax and then send and fax it back to them. You want to digitize this, okay? Do everything online. It will be much faster. So the minute they email to you, you can get it back to them in like 3 minutes, and they would love you for that. They like to see people who act very quickly, okay, and who respond very quickly. All right. Ted asked, what if they don't tell you when the closing is? Oh, you schedule the closing. So You tell them which date you can close by. All right. So, and then once they email to you, you're going to sign it and send it back to them along with a proof of funds letter. And for those of you who don't have proof of funds, log into the members area of dodeals.com and click on more and click on Do Deals Cash Funding and request for your proof of funds. Okay, so members Do Deals members area and click on Do Deals Cash Funding to get a proof of funds. And so once you send everything to them, and also I should have put here you should also send them well, I guess, yeah, you don't need to do it at this point, but you can do it once the bank accepts here. So the agent's going to send it over to the bank, and if the bank doesn't like that offer, then there's going to be more negotiation that's going to happen here. You haggle back and forth until you come to a number that you both agree on. Okay, and once you agree with it, the asset manager from the bank is going to accept it and sign it. And once they sign it, the agent's going to send the contract over to the title company, and then they're going to ask you to show them a copy of your earnest money. They prefer cashier's check. They prefer cashier's check over money order, and they prefer either cashier's check or you wire the money to the title company. Either way. All right, so they want to see a copy of that. So it's easier if you just use a cashier's check. So let me load some of these files up so I can show it to you real quick here. So I'll give you an example. All right. So here's a deal that we're working on right now. We got this offer accepted this week. Okay, and this is the property. This is the the inside of the property. I'm not going to show you too much pictures here. And then here is oh, that's not that's the earnest money. I have too many stuff open up here. Hold on. All right, so where is it? So here is the, let me show you. So this is the initial this is the contract between the bank and us, okay? And so yeah, so here in the state of Texas, all agents must use a check contract to submit offers. And so when the agent is going to send to submit as a check contract, but what happens is that the banks, all of the banks, they have their own their own contract addendum, and so they're gonna put their contract as an addendum instead, which would then override the contract that the banks has with you. Okay, so this is the my bad. All right. And so this is the contract between us and the bank for $52,000. Can you guys see this? Earnest money is $1,000. Okay, and they give us until June 15 to close on this. So they actually gave us 3 weeks to close on it. And some of them are that way. They'll give you longer closing dates. Okay, and yeah, and then these are all just terminologies within that stuff. And let me go back here. They also give you an inspection too. Okay, by default, even if you don't want an inspection, by default they all give you an inspection period. Okay, so whenever they send you the addendum, they always give you 7 days to inspect the property. So that's really good. So you have 7 days to decide if you want to back out of the deal. And so if the house needs too much repairs, you can go back and renegotiate the price down some more. Okay. And so when you make your offer, don't make it without an inspection. But chances are when they do this addendum, the inspection is always built in. Okay. So you make your offer really strong. You bind the house as is. You're not even asking for an inspection. But the truth of the matter is, you know that they are going to offer it to you anyways, because that's just standard. That's just the way they do it. Okay. All right. So we don't have time to go through all of this stuff here, and then so I'm gonna see how the agent is gonna get both sides of the commission. Okay. All right. Go on and on. It's a pretty long addendum. Okay. Pretty long contract. So everybody signs. Okay. Here's the breakdown of the deal, okay, of how much we're paying and all of that. What are other fees that the seller requests for that us as the buyer request for the seller to pay? We're not requesting anything, so we're paying all of our closing costs and they pay theirs. Okay. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. All right. I have the proof of funds here somewhere too, but let me see. I have too many stuff open. Let's see. All right. Let me scroll down this a little bit. So see, this is the I opened out the wrong version. See, this is the version that that the seller had also signed. This is the asset manager for. So in this case, American Home Mortgage Servicing Company is the seller on this property. Okay. Here's our original contract when we made an offer to them, which is the check contract. Okay. Made an offer to them for $52,000 cash. You see that? All right. Okay. So when we make an offer, we always tell them cash. But when they come back with the addendum, once they accept our offer, we tell them it's hard money, but it's just as good as cash. Is what we tell them. Okay. Let me scroll down. We don't ask them to pay for any of the closing costs or anything like that. Let me scroll down some more here. Okay. Here's a copy of our earnest money that we sent to them. Okay. And I'll tell you a little trick that we do with our earnest money as well. Here's a proof of funds letter that we sent into them. Okay. All right. So what we do with the proof of fund, the earnest money, we buy a cashier's check. We buy one cashier's check, and then what we do is then we scan it to our computer, and where it says pay to the order of, we wipe that out so that way whenever we make an offer, and then whenever we make an offer and it's accepted, we put in their title company, and then we send in the cashier's check so that way they know how serious we are, that we're ready to rock and roll, and then we go to the bank and buy a real cashier's check and send it into the title company. So you can do that, but of course, I mean, it's real. We have money. We can we can send in the cashier's check. And I'm going to share with you now how you're gonna get this money, this cashier's this earnest money from your buyers too. All right, so now let's go to the contract process with the buyers. You ready? So now after you get that property accepted with the bank, you're going to you get accepted with the bank. The bank, you're going to then find a buyer, and you're going to get a contract signed with your buyer. The buyer's going to give you earnest money, and you're going to send that contract into the title company. Okay, so let me. I'm going through this a little bit quick today because our computer issues. I still have a lot to cover today, so I want to make sure I have enough time. So here's our contract with our buyer. Let me zoom it in a little bit for you. Make this open bigger. So here's our contract with our buyer. Okay, and you see the price here is $63,000. Okay, so we had it in the contract for $52,000, and we're selling it for $63,000. Okay, and you see here $2,000 earnest money. Okay, so we got $2,000 earnest money. Now I'm gonna show you something here real quick. Notice that our the title company that we have with the buyer is StarTex Title, which is a different title company than the banks. And the reason for that, well, actually, before I explain that to you, let me show you this. So this is the earnest money, a cashier's check, earnest money from our buyer here. Can you guys see this, or do I need a? Yeah, it's $2,000 from our buyer. Okay, so that's why you see. So far we already made $1,000 on this deal. Okay, and we haven't even closed on it yet. This is a very brand new deal. Okay, so now that we have it under contract with the buyer, we're going to send to our title company, and here's what's here's the process with the title company. The banks is going to use either a title company or an attorney's office, depending on your state, or depending depending on your, like here in Houston, probably 99% of closings happen at title companies. They don't happen at attorney's office. And so the banks choose the title company that they want to close with. And whenever the title company is out of town, which is in this particular deal that I just shared with you, the title company is out of town. And so what we did is we asked them to do a courtesy closing at our title company. So what that means is that the banks is going to close at their title company, and our title company is going to, we're going to come to our title company and sign the paperwork, and our title company will send it to the bank's title company, and also send the money to the bank's title company as well. Okay, and so it's called a courtesy closing. And courtesy closing is the only time when you can use your own title company, but you are not truly using your own title company. Okay, the bank's title company still has to be the one that draw up all of the documents and everything, and your title company, all they're doing is really notarizing the paperwork. So they're not doing a full closing. It's called courtesy closing. Okay, and so that's what we're doing on this particular deal. And so with our buyer, we close with our buyer on the second transaction. So we're going to close with the bank's title company on the first transaction on this deal, and then on the second transaction, we close with our buyer. Now, if this title company was in town in Houston, then I would close at the title company for the seller, and I would close at the title company for the buyer as well. I would use the same title company, so it would be faster. So that way your turnaround could be like 3 to 7 days, and it doesn't have to drag out to very much longer than that. And okay, so there are 4 main ways, or sort of five ways you can close on these deals. Okay, and none of the ways I'm teaching you that you need your own money to close. only one of these ways do you need private lenders. So there's 4 other ways that you can close without any private lenders. It's you know, it's a little bit more tricky to do. However, you can do it. Okay, and so double closing is the only time when you're going to need a private lender or a transactional funder to close on the deal. And so what's going to happen? What's going to happen at a double closing is that you're going to close at a title company or an attorney's office, okay, depending on your state. You are going to fund this first transaction with your private money or with your transactional money, okay? The bank is going to then deed the property to you or to your company, and you're going to have to wait 3 to 14 days for the deed to be recorded at the county clerk's office before you can then close it with your buyer. So it's not always this fast, okay? It's not always 3 days. It depends on the title company, and it depends on how the bank deeds the property to you, okay? So if the bank takes a long time, or the title company takes a long time, then it will delay this. But typically it's within 14 days. But if the banks and the title companies are fast, then it can happen as fast as 3 days. It rarely does it happen faster than 3 days, okay? And then once that waiting period is over and your title company gives you a green light that you can close with your buyer, you will then move forward and close it with your buyer. And your buyer is going to fund this transaction with you and your buyer, and the buyer is going to then cash you out and cash out your private lender. Okay, you guys got this? Pretty easy, right? Okay. You guys got this, right? Can I move on? Yes? Okay. All right. Mark said no, but the rest said yes, so I'm moving on. You're slow, Mark. All right, Mark knows I love him, so it's okay that I pick on him. All right, the next way that you can close on this without needing to use private money. Remember, I said there's 5 ways that you can close on this, and only one of those ways do you need private money or any kind of money. All of these other ways you can use your buyer's money to do. Okay. All right, so the second way is to sell the ownership of your LLC. So you see, when we make offers, we make offers under our company's name, our LLC, okay? And so what you can do is you can then sell that ownership to that LLC. And so this has to be an LLC that you set up just for this purpose. You know, you don't want to be using a company that you own for like 5-10 years and you have other assets in it. You want a company that you want a company that you have no asset in it, that you don't care to sell that company off, and you create a new one. Or you can just create a brand new one just for this purpose. It cost me $300 to create an LLC here in Texas. Your state could be cheaper than that. You know, I've heard as cheap as like $100. Actually, I've heard as cheap as like $50 or $100, something like that. Very, very inexpensively. Okay, let me see here. So instead of double close, you're going to do a single close, but you're going to sell the ownership to your company. And so right before closing, you're going to sign over that ownership of your LLC to your buyer. And the buyer is going to pay you outside of closing, okay? So right before, like you guys meet at the title company, you sign over the ownership, they give you your fee, they come into closing, and you can come into closing with them too. Your buyer is going to then sign the closing documents and the paperwork. So you are going to tell the title company that this is my business associate, and he or she is going to sign off for the company, okay? And so nobody will question you. Nobody will know anything about what happened before closing. and then the buyer's going to fund the deal. They bought it under an LLC, and then the seller's going to then deed the property to the LLC. Okay, and if you want to, after closing is over, you can ask your buyer to deed the property out of the LLC, so that way you can buy your LLC back. So you can reuse it again and again and again. So it doesn't cost you $300 each time. Like, so I would ask my buyers to sell my LLC back for $50. So it only cost me $50, and I can reuse this LLC for the next deal and the next deal. Okay, you guys got this? How to sell your LLC? Easy enough, all right? Bruce asks, is the bank going to let you buy the property as an LLC? The answer is yes. They don't care. Awesome. All right. Next, how to sell your DBAs. So similar to LLCs, you can also, and here's the disclaimer for the DBAs. This doesn't work in every county. You have to check in your county what is the DBA process, and if you can sell the ownership of the DBA in your county. Here in Harris County, we could do it. So check with your county, okay? DBA stands for doing business as. So check with them. Your county clerk's office is the one that normally handles the DBA. Okay. All right. So a DBA, it's like it's not a separate entity. It's just like a nickname, right? So let's say Ted, your name is Ted Franklin, and you said, you know, I want to do DBA, do business as, Sexy Ted. And so when you make your offer, you don't make your offer as Ted Franklin. You make your offer as Sexy Ted under your DBA's name. And so then you can sell the ownership of that DBA to your buyer. That's actually a really good idea to name your DBA. Okay, so all of you guys go out there and name it Sexy, whatever your first name is. The bank's gonna love you, and they're gonna approve all of your offers because your name starts with Sexy, and sex sells. All right, so same process with the DBAs. Okay, same process with the DBAs. Right before closing, you're going to sign over the ownership of your DBA to your buyer. Your buyer pays you outside of closing. Okay, your buyer will come in, do the closing, sign the paperwork. Your buyer funds the deal. The bank seller leads the property to a DBA. We'll ask, your LLC method deal sounds shady. Are you sure it's legal in California? I don't know why you would think it sounds shady. People buy and sell businesses all the time. Did you know that? There's nothing wrong with buying and selling businesses. Business is it's a private property. It's not a real estate transaction. And so it's completely legal in all states. I have never heard selling a business being illegal in any states before, or I've never heard of being shady before. So this selling LLC is nothing more than you selling your business and all of the rights and all of the rights and assets that belongs to that LLC. And you said that, well, since you're selling it, you're selling the LLC outside of closing, that's what makes it shady and that's what makes it illegal. Well, number one, you cannot sell your LLC at closing or in closing because the title company only deals with real estate properties. Anything that you do that is personal properties has to happen outside of closing. So even if you want to do it in closing, you can't because it's a private transaction. Not it's a private transaction, not a real estate transaction. It's a personal property transaction, not a real estate transaction. And so it's completely legal. If you doubt that or not sure about that, check with an advisor, check with an attorney. I am not an attorney. I don't play one. I'm not a DBA. I don't play one. So any of these paperwork stuff, contract work stuff, if you want to be sure to make you comfortable, check with an attorney, okay? All right, so let me see here. All right, so same thing here with a DBA, okay? What paperwork do you need to sell your LLCs and your DBA? Check with your state. But if you go on Google and just search for that, there's plenty, search for that for your state. There's plenty of paperwork that's specific to your state to sell LLCs and DBAs. Do you buy your DBAs back like you do to your LLC? The answer is no, because, well, it depends. Like here, our DBAs is really cheap to file. It only costs us like less than $20 to file a DBA. And so you know, you can buy it back, but I mean, it makes, you know, it doesn't matter. You can just get a new one. If your buyers give it back to you, then you certainly can do that. Okay. DBA is not a formal entity. You do have to file a DBA, but you don't have to file like a corporation, a company, an LLC, or anything like that. All right, I'm going to go to the next one, and we'll take all the Q&As at the end, okay? Because I want to make sure that we have enough time to end at 9 o'clock here. All right, so next is how to sell beneficiary interest. How to sell beneficial interest in a land trust. Now, land trust, for those of you, since you guys are starting out, I would recommend, if you're just starting out and you're not familiar with land trust, save land trust for later. Land trust is a little bit more complicated, and and the title company, the banks might give you more trouble. However, the cool thing about land trust is it doesn't cost you any money for the LLC. It doesn't cost you any money for the DBA. It's free. It's completely free. But like I said, it's a little bit more complicated. So it's it's better if you save the land trust for when you get a little bit more experience. Okay. So selling the land trust is just an agreement that you create to say that who's the trustee, who's the beneficiary, and so the closing process happens very similar to selling an LLC or selling a DBA. And so right before closing, you're going to sign over the beneficiary interest of your trust to your buyer, and you're going to appoint your buyer as the new trustee. Okay, so you no longer be the trustee of that land trust. You're going to appoint it to your buyer. Your buyer's going to pay you outside of closing, just like they do with selling the LLC, just like they do with selling the DBAs. Your buyer will come to closing and sign the paperwork. Okay, your buyer's going to fund the deal, and the seller's going to then deed the property to the trust. And your buyer is the trustee and the beneficiary of that trust. Got it? The reason why, I'll give you a couple of reasons why. I'll give you a couple of reasons why you want to get a little bit more experience using land trust. Number one is especially if you don't even know what a land trust is, you shouldn't be using it. And number two, if your buyer is using a hard money lender or any kind of lender other than a private lender or using their cash, then a lot of hard money lenders, they don't like land trust, or they're not comfortable with land trust, and so you might have more trouble that way. Okay. Number two, some title companies also don't like land trust either, and this is the reason why I have to tell you here that you have to appoint your buyer as the new trustee, and your buyer is also the beneficiary. That's the only time when title, well, this is only on title companies that are not comfortable with land trust, okay? They will be comfortable if the buyer is both the trustee and the beneficiary, but they are not comfortable if the two entities are different. And so, yeah, so like I said, if you are not familiar with land trust yet and you haven't done any deals yet, just don't do this one for now. you can do the double closing, you can do the sale of the LLC, or you can do the sale of DBA if you can do that in your county. Okay? All right. You guys liking this so far? This is good stuff, huh? I can guarantee you this, that nobody in the whole country that I know of teach you to close like I do. All right. Another way that you can do single close, and again, this one requires for you to be a little bit more experienced, okay? Because if you're not that experienced, this one can blow up on you. And it's doing a single close, and what you're going to do is you're going to change your buyer's name. You're going to change your buyer's name on the HUD, okay? And I mean, change your buyer's name before you close on it. So you make your offer under one, you make your offer under one name, and in the special provisioning, you're going to write. In the special provisioning, you're going to write title to be vested title will vested title name will be determined at closing. Okay. Vested title name will be vested title entity. Vested entity will be determined at closing. Okay, and I haven't, I forgot the terminology here because I haven't been doing this one in a while. Because this one, like I said, it's the most risky one to do, and if you're not experienced, it can blow up the deal. However, sometimes you have to do it. I mean, there are certain situations that you have to do. You have to use this specific strategy, and so. So you say, vested to be, vested to be determined at closing. So before closing, you're going to tell the agent that, well, when you make the offer, what you tell the agent is that, you own several different companies, and and sometimes you buy and fix up and sell. Sometimes you buy and rent, and you are not 100% sure what name you want to take title under as yet, and so you're just gonna put vested to be determined, vested entity to be determined at closing, and so and so then before closing, you're going to tell the agent and the title company that you have decided what title company. Once you find your buyer, pretty much. You can tell them, okay, you have already determined what entity you wanna take title under, and so when you do that, the agent will have to get a new signed contract from the bank, and this is why it's so risky, because now the bank has to sign it again, and they might question it, and when that happens, a lot of time they are going to ask you to increase your earnest money. So let's say if you had $1,000 earnest money. Now, because you want to change title, they might ask you for $2,000 earnest money or $3,000 earnest money. And if they do ask you for more earnest money, then you just go back to your buyer and ask them for more earnest money to cover for it. Okay, if you don't have the money to cover it yourself, even if you do have the money to cover it yourself, just go back to your buyer and ask them for it anyways. Okay. And then, so once you do that, you have two choices here. You can invoice the buyer a property management fee for your difference, for your amount, okay? Or you can also get your buyers to pay you your assignment fee outside of closing, because now they have a contract with the bank already. You guys got this? I know this one is complicated. I know this one is I know this one is a little bit complicated, but like I said, sometimes you're going to need this. So I'm just giving you all of the different ways that you can do closings, that you can do closings, and sometimes it's beneficial that you can you have to use it, so you use it. But like I said, don't do this one when you're first dealing with the real estate agents and you haven't built a relationship with them yet. Once you've done some deals with them and they know that you are a player, then they're not going to feel risky. They're not going to feel that you might back out on the deal or something's going wrong. Okay, you want to to eliminate as much of their fears as possible, and and make the transaction as as safe for them, as secure for them as possible. Okay. Yeah. All right. So here's some what ifs. What if you can't find a buyer? Then what you need to do is you need to go back, especially, so you have 7 days inspection period. If you can't find a buyer within that 7 days, that means something is wrong with that deal. Chances are it means that the house needs too much repairs. So you need to go back to the agent and renegotiate the price and tell them that the house needs way too much repairs, and maybe the value is not is not as high as what you thought it was. And if you have a full repair list and or a full inspection report, send it to them. That would be extremely helpful for them, and then so you can negotiate the price. I have a deal this week. We have a deal this week that we're renegotiating the price on, and so far we wanted to get our initial offer was accepted at $58,500, but the house ended up having a lot more repairs than we thought, and so now we wanted to go back and offer them $40,000, but now they're counting back at $52,000, and so we're still going back and forth right now. They haven't completely said no to us. They're still entertaining our offer, and we haven't said yes to them. And so you see that? So they accepted the offer at $58,500, and now we come back and renegotiate, and we can get it for $52,000 right now and make money on it, but it means we make a lot less money. We'll at $52,000, maybe we'll make $3,000 to $5,000 bucks. But we want to. Our goal when we get into these deals is to make $10,000 out of to have a $10,000 spread at least. And so we try to renegotiate and get it down even more as much as we can. Okay, and so it's okay to renegotiate, and just make sure you do that within your 7 day within your 7 day within your 7 day inspection period. Okay. All right. So here's another what if, right? So what if your buyer back out on you at the last minute? If they back out on you early, then it's easy, right? You can find another buyer. But if they back out on you at the last minute, then that's when that's when you use that tip I gave you earlier about telling the agent that you had an emergency, you had to go out of town. And like I said, don't lie to them. Go out of town if you have to. Heck, I'll drive to Austin if I have to. I'll drive to Conroe if I have to, right? And so that way to buy a little bit more time for you to find another buyer quickly. Okay. And if you can also, and for us, we are in a position where we would be willing to go ahead and close on it, and then and then give us some more time to find another buyer. So it depends on your relationship with the agent. Okay, if you can get away from being out of town and buy a little bit more time, great. If you're not, and you are in the position, and your private lender is willing to let you go ahead and close on it, even though your buyer has just backed out on you, then go ahead and close on it and find another buyer. Okay, you guys got it? Okay. All right, so you ready for your homework now? Here's your homework. Number one, I need you to give me a testimonial. And to give me a testimonial about what you've learned so far, let me give you, let me set up a, let me see here. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to set up a shortcut link here so that way you guys will know how to give me a testimonial about what you learned so far. You guys like what you've learned so far? We're not even done yet. We're going to go to Q&As here pretty soon. You know, I'm surprised that our attendance rate today is lower than normal. I don't know if it's because a lot of people got dropped off because I was having technical difficulties in the beginning of the show there or not. What you guys think? Why do you think people didn't show up? All right. Okay, here's where you can go to leave me a testimonial. Go to dodeals.com/sexytim. dodeals.com/sexytim to give me a testimonial. Got that? Okay. And let me see here. All right. So and then let me write that down. So you're done now. Well, I guess. And the second testimony, the second. There you go. Let me write this down for you guys. www.dodeals.com/sexytim. Okay. So you know, let me know what you think about the. You know, give me some feedback about what you think about this whole training session, what you've learned, you know, how you like it, how it encouraged you and get you, you know, and hold you accountable and get you to take action. Let me know about how much private money you have raised, how many cash buyers you built relationship with, how many cash buyers you found, how many audio listing agents you built relationship with and found, okay? And when you do that, when you give me a testimonial, everybody who gives me a testimonial, I'm going to invite you to another training class that I'm going to do next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at the same time, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And the next Tuesday's webinar will be just on question and answers only. The entire, so that's why I need you to prepare at least 3 questions. Okay, don't come to class with at least 3 of your top questions. You can come to class with 100 questions if you want to, but don't come to class unless you have at least 3 questions. Okay. I may not be able to answer all of the questions. However, we're going to have 2 hours, so I should be able to answer probably a couple hundred questions. And so bring it on, okay? Bring it on. And yeah, and so, you know, so come to class, ask a lot of questions, get ready to be blown away again. And so make sure you do that. Go to dodeals.com/sexytim. Leave me a testimonial so you can attend. You know, everyone leave us a testimonial. We're going to send out an email to those people the webinar registration link for next Tuesday's training webinar. Okay, so you guys, and next Tuesday is when everything's gonna come together, right? So now I'm gonna answer questions in a way where it flows from the beginning of the deal to the end of the deal. The whole thing is going to flow. Okay, and then and so if you guys know that I love you and you want to send some love back, make sure you give me some great testimonial, some great feedback. I don't mind if it's bad feedback. Okay, that's really good, so that way I can better it for next time. Okay, and I don't mind, just give it, the good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter, give it all, the sexy, give it all. Okay, and several of you have been asking about the mentorship program. It is still, we still have a few more slots left, and so to take advantage of that, go to dodeals.com/mentor, where I'm going to be mentoring you for the next 6 months. I'm going to mentor you for the next 6 months. My team and I are going to help you implement everything that you've learned. So we're going to take you by the hands and help you find all of the private lenders in your area, so that way you can build a relationship with them. We're going to help you find all of the cash buyers in your area. Maybe not all, but a lot of them, okay? Well, whatever that we can find. Find the private lenders, find the cash buyers, find the REO listing agents. I'm going to give you the access to my REO listing agent directory for the entire U.S. If you do this outside of your area, and these are all active REO listing agents. Okay, and we have a lot of them because we are a lead generation service, and so we have all of the foreclosure leads in our database, and so we have a lot of these REO listing agents. So we're gonna help you implement and give you all of these names and contacts, so that way you can contact them. And there's a whole lot more stuff, but I'm only taking 20 students because I want to spend as much time as possible with 20 students. Get you to be very successful in this business. My goal is for you to do 6 deals in the next 6 months, a deal a month. And so, we're gonna split profit on your first 3 deals. Okay, so on the first 3 deals, we're gonna split profits. On the second sets of 3 deals, you can keep it all yourself. And so go to dodeals.com/REO mentor. You do have to apply for this. It's a first come, first serve. So whoever applies first, and I feel that you are going to be an asset, you are going to be an action taker. That's a really key. If you have not, been doing any of your homework on this training, then chances are this program is not for you. But for those of you who have been doing your homework, this is an extremely excellent opportunity for you, okay? Because it shows that you are an action taker, and if you're an action taker, I guarantee you, I can help you do do deals, okay? Do a lot of deals this year. We only have 7 months. I guess it's the end of May now. We have like 6 months until the end of the year. So let's finish your 2010 with a big bang, okay? Who knows? You might end up doing $100,000 from now to the end of the year. That would be really awesome. That would be a huge, testimonial for me. Okay, so go there and apply for it. dodeals.com/REO mentor. So now I'm going to take questions, and let me bring my back here. Okay. Now, for those of you, if I have, I'm going to go back to this. If I miss your questions, you're more than welcome to re-ask the question. Okay. Denise asks, Tim, I am not quite getting your tip on how we can use our buyers' deposit money to cover for our deposit to the bank. Isn't it just being held in escrow? You're going to have your buyers sign the earnest money check to you, not held in escrow. You want them to sign it to you. Okay? I don't know if you were able to see the check I showed earlier, but it's not signed to the title company, it's signed to us. Very important. Okay. You can also, you know, I mean, you can also have it signed to the title company. That would be fine too. If your buyer is not comfortable with signing the money to you. In that case, then, heck, I guess if you don't have money, you have to borrow somebody's money to cover for that. I mean, you know, if you have $2,000 here and you need $1,000 here, figure out some way to get that $1,000 if you can't get it. Or you can tell your buyer to sign $1,000 to the title company and $1,000 to you directly. You can do that as well. You know, get a buyer that's willing to work with you. One thing I'm concerned about is losing my deposit if things fall apart with the end buyer. What happens to me before? I see. Okay. Yeah, so you can get the buyers to just pay you directly. RC said, is this testimonial different than the one we already posted? The answer is no. If you already posted a testimonial, you don't need to. You know, can you do this? Do me a, like, what I would really love from your testimonial is if you guys can give me a video testimonial. I would like totally love that. That would be really awesome. Okay. And so, so yeah, if you already give a testimonial today, then you don't need to do that. Or you can do a second testimonial with a video. That would be super awesome. Nam asked, when do we need to close using the land trust? You don't ever need to use them at all, ever. You know, it's just one of those things where since it's free, it doesn't cost any money to create an LLC. It doesn't. It's not like an LLC where it costs you money. It's not like a DBA where it costs you money. A land trust is free, and so so that's when you use it. It's just because it's free. You don't have anything else available. But you know, if you have an LLC available, that you know that is a really good way to do it. So I'm just giving you all the options available to you. You know, if you just master the double closing and the LLC closing, if you just master those two things alone, that's all you ever need in this business. All the other stuff is just you know, gives you like more tools for your belt. You know. Julie asked, on your deal that you show us that you paid $52,000 for, what was the bank's original asking price? Wondering how much they were willing to lower their price. I don't remember what the, oh, this $52,000 one, the bank asking price is $59,900. Okay. Let me see here. Joe asks, would you buy a condo audio even if it's 20 cents on the dollar? In the Orlando area, real estate guru says stay away from condos. You would only buy it if you can find a buyer. You know, and yeah, they tell you to stay away because you can't find a buyer. That's the problem. So if you have a cash buyer that's willing to buy it, then yeah, go for it. You know, somebody's buying. You just got to find out the people who are buying, and as long as you have buyers buying them, then you're good to go. Okay, James asked, do you happen to know if anybody is successful using land trust in California? You know, yeah. In California, you don't want to use a land trust. You might want to use a revocable trust. So it's a different kind of trust that you want to use in California, but I don't know anybody using land trust, the normal land trust in California. All right, so RC asks, when you say buyer pays outside of closing, do you mean the buyer's payment to you is not recorded in the closing documents? Does the buyer pay the investor before closes? Yes, that is correct, Aussie. It's not documented in the HUD. Caller asked, isn't a land trust a subject to? No, you're just confused between. A lot of people buy subject to existing financing using a land trust, but a land trust isn't a subject to. That's not. The two things are very different. All right, Gary said that house that you show, did you get that under contract before it went on the MOS? No, both of the ones that I showed, did I show you one today? Just show you one today. No, it was already under contract. As a matter of fact, the one I showed you today has been on the MOS for 30 days already. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be before it gets on the MOS for you to find a good deal. You should look at all deals. RC ask, is the earnest money deposit from the buyer non-refundable? Yes, it is non-refundable. Gary said, how many private money investors is too many to use for a transaction? If I use 40, is that too many? Oh my God, yes, that would be way too many. Oh man, no, you don't want to use that many. I mean, there's no specific number of people, unless y'all just want to have a lot of fun and each one of y'all put $1,000 in on the deal or something. But for a little $50,000 house to use 40 private investors, that's kind of silly. And so I would, yeah, I mean, use the least amount that you can, but there's no maximum. What if you do a deal that's $50,000, and each one of you wants to invest $100? That would need 500 of you to do that deal. That would be funny. Is it 500? Yeah. Man, I'm teasing you here, Gary. But I don't mean to. I'm just having fun. Let me see here. Tom's asked, hard money deals are via LLC or Corp, so lots of equity deals in California. Regarding buying and selling businesses, people do it all the time. It's called commercial real estate. That is correct, Tom. That is correct. Caller asked, our MAO, maximum allowable offer, is based on our buyer's criteria and what other factors? It's all based on your buyer's criteria. Nam asked, the buyer in the example you showed us today is an end buyer or an investor? He's an investor. He's going to buy and rent these houses out. He owns other rental properties in the neighborhood, so he's going to buy and rent it out. Linda asked, this is another good reason why once you farm an area, make sure you know all of the landlords in that area, because chances are they want to buy more houses in that area. Linda asked, should you get title insurance with REOs? The answer is yes, you should. You should always get title insurance. Caller asked, some counties take 3 weeks for a deed to be recorded. How do you work around that? You can't. You ask your title company to see if they would be willing to close it. What's the earliest that they can turn around and close it? Normally, the title company, they don't, once they turn it over to the county clerks and they get a receipt with a recording number, that recording number is all that they need to turn around and close on the second transaction. So they don't need to wait for the county clerks to actually get it updated into their computer system, assuming you're closing at the same title company, okay? They just need that recording number, that receipt. And so it, it's probably not that you have to wait 3 weeks. Larry asked, do you guys always offer the bank less than what they list the property for? The answer is no, we don't. Sometimes we offer them more because the banks purposely list it for less, and try to get a higher offer. You try to get like a bidding war going. So that happens too. Kevin said, on the closing where you change the name, do you mean that you change the name to your buyer? And to my buyer's name, yes. And that's the one that goes to the bank to resign. Yes, that is correct. Gary said, in California, and houses cost about 200 to 300,000 in my area. That's why I asked the private money question, but thanks for answering. I'm really sorry, Gary. I was just totally playing with you, okay? And didn't mean to offend you in any way, shape, or form. But you know, you want to limit as little as possible, because 40 is a lot. You know, your document, it's going to be like you know, a mile long to list all of the partners that are involved in the deal. And so yeah, so just limit down the amount, okay? And I apologize if I offended you. I totally didn't mean it. I was just being silly. Okay. Roland said, I'm just curious on the deal that you showed us. Why would the buyer pay you $63,000 when it was listed for $59,000? Why do you think, Roland? The buyers don't care about what it listed for, because you already have it under contract. It's not like they can buy it, right? And I've told you that there are times when we buy houses on the these REOs for more than what is listed on the MLS. And so buyers understand that. Once somebody has it under contract, they can't buy it anymore. And so as long as it meets their numbers, as long as it meets their criteria, then they'll pay for it regardless. They don't, they don't care, how much money you make. Venus asked, Tim, that earnest money, $1,000 I pay to the bank, is it refundable? Depends on the reason why. If you make your contract contingent on financing, then yes, it's refundable. Or if it's within your 7-day inspection period, then yes, it's refundable. So it depends. It depends on how you structure it. But we have gotten our money back before, yes, from the banks. All right, so RC said serial numbers of the copy cashier's check to the bank reusable and actual cashier's check to the title company will be different. Wouldn't this cause any problem? RC, nobody will ever notice about it, okay? They will not notice that. As long as it's a cashier's check, as long as there's money, they are good to go. John asked, how would you structure the lender's interest in a property if you use multiple lenders for one deal? And is this a problem with the SEC? No, it's not. I understand how to use one lender and give him the house as a collateral, but how do you do this with several people contributing small amount? You would structure as a partnership and not as a private lender. So all of you own this one company together, and they just get a small percentage of that. Okay? If there's too many partners, that is. Right. Let me see here. Larry asked a side question. Why does your video come through on my computer jumpy, as if one picture at a time? I don't know. The frame rate, maybe? I don't know. Tim, one more strategy is to add someone on with you for closing and sign over the deed over to them after closing with the bank and after you receive your money. That's a good idea. I have not thought about that. And I'll think a little bit about that more. Chances are you still have to update the contract anyways. You still have to amend the contract to add that buyer's name on there, and then both of you come to closing. But that's a really good idea. Yeah, you certainly can do that. So I will. I'll think more on that and make sure that it's and I'll give it a try. You know what? That's what I'll do. On my next deal, I will give that a try and let you know. Okay. So thank you, Linda. See, I learned something. I always learn something every time. You guys, you guys have plenty of things to share for sure. Shazeb said, is the inspection clause already included in the contracts with the bank? The answer is yes. Linda said, I saw a webinar on it. Good. Thanks, Linda. Carla said, my private lenders will need to provide the funds at or before closing. They will need to provide the funds at or before closing, either way. They need to, at least on the same day anyways, they need to bring in the money or wire in the money. They have to do it on the same day. All right, everybody. Well, we are out of time, and so thank you so much. If I haven't answered your questions, please bring it with you for our call next Tuesday. Okay, and I'm gonna go through and answer a lot of questions for you. If you want to, and if we have time next week, I'll go through the contract slowly and read through the paragraphs with you so you can see it and see how it goes. Okay, and so or whatever else you think you need, you tell me. If you need if you need questions to be answered, you need to look at how to fill out contracts, documents. You request that, okay? Next Tuesday is all yours, and so make sure you make sure you guys leave me a great testimonial. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I still see a lot of questions here, but there is there's no way that I'll be able to answer all of the questions today. So we will do the questions next Tuesday. All right, everybody, you have a great evening, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. Oh, for those of you who have already joined us in the mentorship program, congratulations. You are going to be scheduled. My assistant Ivy is contacting you and has been trying to contact you to schedule a phone call with me. Okay, so make sure you answer her email or answer her phone call, and so that way you can schedule a phone call with me for me to talk to you. Hi, everybody. Bye bye. You have a great evening.